Dr. Chardale Murray is an entrepreneur, a former South Carolina state representative, a Hollywood resident, and now she wants to add mayor to her resume. She tells me why she's running for mayor for the town of Hollywood for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Dr. Chardale Murray, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, Quintin, how are you? Always a pleasure.
Likewise, I'm doing great. You know, you are very well known here in the Low Country. You're an entrepreneur, a funeral home owner, a mom, and obviously a former state representative and a Hollywood resident. And speaking of Hollywood, you are now obviously a candidate for the town of Hollywood as mayor. Tell me, what got you from all of those careers to now wanting to be mayor of the town of Hollywood?
Well, the phone is breaking up, Quintin, but I know you said what want me to be the mayor of Hollywood.
Yes, ma'am.
One, because I'm homegrown, I'm from this area, and I know the wants and the needs of the people in the town. And of course, like you said, I was on council, and before I became a state representative, I was always still active in the community. But being on council, going to the state house, and I'm coming back home, there's a lot of concerns and issues in the town, and it seems like there's no answers. And as being a state representative, I had a lot of constituents still reaching out to me because they were concerned about the town hall being closed, things not getting done, etc. So also myself, I tried to reach out to the mayor on several occasions, and there's no communication. So
Wow.
That's one of the reasons why I'm coming back. That's me. Of course, we had COVID,
Right.
but after things started opening back up, it was like everything was still shut down in the town of Hollywood, the parks, and then in the town hall.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, but these geese are coming past me. But you talk about the needs and wants. So, in what ways are you engaging the constituents of the town with those needs and wants?
Well, again, Quintin, I've always been active in the community. For example, the food drives, giving back to the community, scholarships to the school, working with the teachers in the school. Again, I'm in funeral service, so on a daily basis, I'm always in the community reaching out to hundreds of people. So that's not
Okay.
hard, just like I don't need a platform, if something to be done, I just do it.
So, when it comes to the needs and wants of the constituents of the town of Hollywood, what are you addressing and how are you addressing it?
Well, if they come to me, I usually try to go out of my way to help them. And if there's something I can't help them, then I use my resource from someone else.
So, what resources are you using, say, to open back up the town? Well, the town hall is open up now, but the other needs right now in the town of Hollywood.
Well, again, being a former state rep, if it's something that somebody needs, maybe they want to start a small business, just anything, I'll reach out to whatever individual that they might need help with. It's a lot of family right now need a place to stay, and I got a lot of family and friends, business owners who can help them out, whether it's something if they don't know how to fill an application when it comes to housing and all, need their utility bill paid. The list just goes on and on. I'm just a public servant in general.
Yes, ma'am. And so, when it comes to the needs and wants of the town of Hollywood, what do you see that people need and want right now?
Well, in Hollywood, just right across the country, it's a shortage when it comes to affordable homes. I mean, it's so many needs in the area. After 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock when the post office closed, you can't even get a money order in the town of Hollywood. After 8 or 9, you can't get anything to eat in Hollywood. I mean, it's a rural area. So it's a whole lot of wants and needs. The kids don't have any activities, entertainment to keep them busy. We need a learning hub. I mean, we don't have a homeless shelter, so not a transitional house. I mean, I can go on and on about wants and needs in this town.
So, Dr. Murray, let me ask you, you talk about that homeless shelter. So, how many people are currently homeless in the town of Hollywood?
I don't know how many people are homeless because you could be living on somebody's couch make you homeless, like homeless veterans, etc. I don't have offhand how many people are homeless in the town of Hollywood, um, but there are some homeless people out here. Now,
Eh,
what percentage?
yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure.
Do you see that population increasing in the town of Hollywood as more people are moving to the area?
Hmm. Yes, um, because we have a lot of development, and the homes are starting at 600,000. That's ridiculous. You know, the people barely can afford 300,000 homes, and we just had a new subdivision. 600. That's a lot for a rural community
And
when
speaking
you
of,
have no affordable homes.
hmm, how many current affordable homes are there in the town right now?
I can't think of any right now. We used to have uh, maybe 2 or 3 years ago when some people just moved in an area called Holly Grove, and those would be like affordable homes for the community. But it's not many.
Okay.
Probably less than 13.
So you said 13. How many more do you need now to keep up with the growth that's coming to the town of Hollywood?
Good question. How many more? I would think, I don't know offhand how many more, but whatever. I'll say even 20, whatever we, can do, it's fine. I got to first see how many, like what's available, how many land and
Mm.
property the town has. But that's something I would like to see. Affordable home is something that's for teachers, emergency personnel, well, first responders. You know, um, these are the people that on my list first. But we need more qualified teachers in the school, and I got a lot of family members that's educators, and it's a shame that these teachers have to get 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. So if they can have something close where they live, that help out the community too, or the law enforcement, law enforcement, and like I said, emergency personnel, first responders.
Now, Dr. Murray, let's put aside affordable housing for a second. What is your goal? Actually, well, what is your game plan for workforce housing for those people that you just mentioned?
Well, again, working with other organizations, um, like SC Workforce, people, like got the name on top of my head. There's so many organizations I can think of, but um, oh Lord, I'm thinking of Bernie Bazzi. I can't,
Oh,
the
yes.
organization he's with,
Right.
a different organization to help develop the rural area.
Now, yeah.
Again, being a state representative, I have a lot of resource that I can help with funding for the town and things like that.
So how much does the town of Hollywood need right now for workforce housing?
So how much do they need?
Yes, ma'am.
Probably a couple millions.
Hmm. And how much do you think that funding will last over for the next 5 years?
Again, I would have to sit down and plan uh, with my options, quitting, for the workforce houses. Like I said, so many other needs. So the first one thing, my first concern is the sewer before we start talking about developing more houses. The sewer is the main concern right now.
Well, let me jump into that because I know apparently that the town of Hollywood secured over $5 million in grants to modernize their sewer system. Do you know where and who got this money for the town?
Well, that's what the mayor said, but I don't know who because what I can tell you
Yes, ma'am.
that the opera funding they did get $500,000 because I sat at the table that was during under my administration, and but recently Hollywood did not get approved. I don't know if they didn't apply, what happened, but they didn't get approved for funding, and that was one of my questions with the mayor, but I can't get any answers because they did not get any funding for the sewer except from uh, the opera funding, the $500,000. Now, where the other funding came from, I don't know because, like I said, there was no communication between me and the mayor of Hollywood the entire time. I reached out to him several times, sent him emails, He said he would get back with me. And that's what they just did recently when we went back in because it was crossover until next this year. So that would be the current representative, Matt Lever, that will help with funding for the following, moving forward. But we didn't, they didn't get any sewer funding, funding for the sewer.
I know that every other local
No,
government,
from that,
American Rescue.
and they make it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, no, no! I guess you were going to say the American Rescue Plan.
No, I was going to say the skit, the South Carolina Rural Infrastructure. They
Oh,
make that. They didn't get any of that funding
wow.
either. So I'm concerned about the uh, sewer funding, and that's to me a false campaign because he has it inside. That's in his press release that he had this funding, and I asked the council members, and what they're talking about uh, is what Matt is trying to, I guess, uh, put a
Kickstart
request in moving forward. But it's
now
not. There's no funding.
funding. So, what type of well, how much money is he requesting for this sewer right now? The mayor.
From what I understand, because I spoke to um, the representative when I was up there about a month ago, and he said that the mayor did reach out to him and requested $4 million, and it was 750,000 I saw
Mm,
in his budget for an upgrade.
mm.
But again, it was not approved because they go back actually this week for to finalize the budget. And of course, you know how the government works. Once they finalize the budget, then it'll go to the governor, and it could be veto. So what they're talking about, I'm not sure when
Now,
it comes to the funding.
funding. And at any point, did the town have a negative real for funding when it comes to sewer and all these other issues?
I know we had issues before I left. Like I said, I was off the council for like 3 years, but we did have issues with the funding, the sewer funding.
And can the town actually afford money or for sewer at all?
Not at all.
Is
That
there?
was the issue,
Mm,
and I
yes,
don't know if you remember,
yes,
but they had a spill in 2018,
right.
a sewer spill, and I know the former mayor, Jackie Hayward, she had everything planned out for the town, but again, uh, recently the mayor said he doesn't want to turn the system over, the Charleston water system, and he also said that recently at a forum we just had that he doesn't want to turn the system over, and that's a big issue. But we have neighboring towns, for example, Ravenel
Right.
and the town of Meggett.
Sure.
Now, I'm not sure about Meggett. I don't think it's too much development in the town of Meggett, but in the town of Ravenel, they have quite a few subdivisions being developed. We share the same pump station number 7, and just like I said, that's the big issue. You
Right.
know, water is good, yeah, to have for your town and sewer, but if you can't afford it, it's like putting a bandage, like the mayor said. He did say put a bandage on it, but we need to find a solution long term
And I'm
to
gonna
help
get
with
to
the
the
system.
system. So, how many pump stations do you have overall in Hollywood?
It could be about 20. And now that again, Quintin, I'm not sure how many pump stations. Um, I know that when I see them by driving around, but I didn't count offhand. I'll say about maybe about 20 pump stations.
Now, what do you think is the mayor's fear for not turning over the system to, say, for instance, the Charleston Waterworks?
That's a good question. I don't know what's the reason why he wanted. He never said why, but he said that's not. If we want a mayor, that would be him who's going to turn it over to the water system. Now, what was the reason? I'm not sure.
Now, is there or was there a sewer bond with or without council approval?
That's correct. It was a $2 million sewer bond back in 2019 because I actually sat on council,
Hmm.
and I know he wanted to do a full mill tax increase, but I was the one that actually informed the constituents about the full mill tax increase back in 2019.
And you say
Something
2019.
like something. Because I served from July 2019 until 2020.
Now you say 2019,
And uh,
yeah, and you talk about 2019. Looking back then to right now, and with the growth that's going on right now in the Hollywood, and if you were to become mayor, would you ask to increase taxes to fix this sewer
well,
situation?
well, the thing is, they just recently had the last meeting they had last month. They already increased it. It
Hmm.
was stopped during my time, but then recently they just increased the sewer um, the fee, from what I was told by Councilman Handy Miles.
Now, what's that current fee?
That I'm not sure what's the fee, but they just voted on it. The problem we have also in this town, when they have the meetings, things
Yes,
are not on the website. You don't know when we have public hearings. So these are some of the issues that the constituents are concerned about. You know, I did a FOIA for the budget request
right.
about 3 weeks ago. I still haven't got it. So this is another reason why I'm running, because the town deserves better. You know, we have the things being developed and no answers. The parks being closed
Hmm.
early, no answers. We had an increase in the park without council approval. He said that the staff uh, told him, you know, him and the staff made that decision. So when how can the staff make a decision on increasing the park price? You know, how can the staff uh, determine who stays on BZA or the planning and commission board? You know, these are the things that I have a problem with when it comes to the town.
Now, you mentioned all of this, Dr. Murray. Did he go to council first with this?
No, sir. And so, you know, it's like the town is being run like a dictatorship. You know, how can you have a meeting, or if you right now if you ask a council member something, they don't have a clue of what's going on or any idea. It's like a meeting before a meeting.
Now, I know that the town actually passed a bond ordinance in 2020 to ensure financial resources for years to come. Uh, Tell me, what resources are they actually using now?
I'm not sure. You said it. I don't know what resource they're using. It's like, again, like being in Colombia and having no communication. It's a whole lot of things. I have to take a fresh look at Quintin being off council
And I
for
know
a
that,
while.
yeah,
We
and I,
can't get any answers. That's the problem.
wow. Now, now, how many people have been appointed to the BZA via this mayor?
When I was on council, I know it was at least 2 or 3 people appointed.
Wow. And how many parks are currently still closed in the town of Hollywood?
Recently, they just opened the park, but I think it's closed by 4.
Okay.
Someone just told me they went to Serenity Park or Wide Awake Park, just to former Wide Awake Park, and it was closed at 4 o'clock. They wanted to take some photos, prom pictures, or something like that. So
Does this town of Hollywood have enough money to keep these parks open past 4 p.m., past 5 p.m.?
they should. Again, that would be something once I get in office. I don't know what's in the budget. I still don't have a budget report. When I was on council, we had missing check images. So how can I say what's going on if we don't have the information?
Would you do a forensic audit of the budget once you get in office?
Definitely.
And what other audits would you do if you were to become mayor?
Well, just that I know I would do a forensic audit and probably a legislative audit. I'm not sure. Um, but I have to again get in office and go from there.
Now going back to the sewer, Dr. Murray, I know that with the new development coming, how will that affect the capacity of sewer?
Well, again, it's already like I said, we have um, sewer issues just recently, and before I had constituents reaching out to me because the sewer, one of them in my area, was coming back up into their homes. Um, since I've been on council, like I told you in 2019, I still don't have no answers. I don't even know how many sewer taps that's in the town of Hollywood, and it can affect um, the, the constituents. For example, because living in a rural area, we don't know how many people are sharing taps. I
Mhm.
had someone who had their house damaged, and the other family member didn't know what to do because they were sharing the same sewer taps. So uh, when I first got on council, we were supposed to have some experts could hire or to let us know about the taps. I still have the answer 3 years later. So
And would
again,
you, yeah, and would you hire those experts if you become mayor?
yes.
Okay.
Now we were told someone was hired, some experts, but I haven't heard anything else.
And did they have any money in the budget for that?
I don't know if money was in the budget, but I know when I was on council, someone was hired to. That was another question asked. That without council approval, someone was hired. A grant writer was hired, but again, I'm not sure
Now,
what's the status right now.
over the past 3 years, Dr. Murray, how many grants have been written for the town of Hollywood by this grant writer?
I have no clue, and that's a sin. And no other council members.
Wow. And going back to those parks, and speaking of grants, did the town of Hollywood receive any grants for the town parks?
Yes, I know when I was in the state house, they received like $5,000 for um, one of the parks to be ADA accessible. And again, there was no communication with me and the mayor of Hollywood. And I know we had a grant for I can't think of the name of the park in the SAP, but it's like 100 acres that we lost that grant because again, no communication with the mayor and the representative.
Now, how much money does this park currently need?
Well, it depends on which park you're talking about because it's
Oh,
several parks.
the one that you
The
said it
state.
lost. Oh, yeah, the one that you said it lost the grant.
I think the grant was like for $1 million. I
Okay.
was on council, but somehow it was taken off the budget. We lost the grant.
Wow. And what else was taken off the budget?
Code enforcer. I know the town did apply for a code enforcer. Well, a code enforcer was in the budget, but I never saw a code enforcer around.
How many code enforcement officers does the town need right now?
I just need one. Hollywood is not that. It's not a large area, so
Okay,
one should be fine.
fine. Now, going back to those parks, did the town of Hollywood ask for or request any money for trails?
Yes, that was under Mayor Hayward administration. I know they already had it, but again, with no communications, like everything just set. Whatever the former mayor had, the infrastructure was here. It's like it was taken off the table.
What else
Everything
was
that the former mayor did.
and what else was taken off the table infrastructure wise?
Mm, let's see. I'm trying to think, Quintin.
Or you can call me
Oh my God,
Quincy.
1,000 miles. Yeah, no, Quincy. But oh wow, Michelle, what's the park? I guess some affordable homes. I know. I think the Fred Johnson Group or something. A lot of people was terminated. So I think in Holly Grove there was some more affordable homes. I think those are being built. Again, because I didn't stay on council that long, because the former representative Robert Brown um, asked if I would run for his position.
Right.
So and I was just new to council. Again, Quentin, I don't like politics. I was just being obedient, and being that we're from the same area, I just went ahead. I was always active in my community, but I'm not trying to be a politician. But after I got into politics and see what's going on, I'm asking all my colleagues who are young to please, let's get more involved in the community and active. You know, things are being done the old way, and it's not that doesn't always mean that it's being done correct, the right way. So we're trying to challenge some more young people to get involved in politics in the community.
And when you
Like
go,
for example,
yes, ma'am.
when I came back home from college, because I lived down a dirt road, it was optional for sewer versus having a septic. But I didn't realize we had an issue. I thought majority of the people in Hollywood, at least from the railroad track to New Road, had sewer. But until I got active on council, then I realized it was a big issue in the town. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. I'm challenging a lot of people, to become more involved in the community, because leaving and coming back, why would I think it's an issue when it comes to the sewer in the town? So we have to get more involved in the community.
Now, you talk about the old and news ways. So, how could these young people challenge the old ways right now in the town of Hollywood?
So how can they challenge it?
Yes.
Come out and vote and just get more involved. Recently, I was just uh, doing some roundtable discussion, helping people understand politics and the forms of how things work.
Okay.
Because I realized too, going to Columbia, I had a lot of people calling me about this is something simple. Well, when we're going to have a parade, I'm in Columbia making policies, um, and the parade is something on the local level. That's just like me calling Congressman Clyburn and say, "Hey, when is the parade going on in Landon or something?" One don't have anything to do with the other. Or someone called me about Social Security or Medicaid. No, I can call unemployment office if you got a problem, with your check on your unemployment, and certain things I can't control. So
Right.
I think they need to understand how the forms of operation happen, works. I'm not responsible for paying somebody home. Um, we just send the funding down here. So I was having a lot of those conversations, focus group, so I can increase the voter participation. Because in the town of Hollywood, what I noticed, we have a lot of the young people 40 and under that don't vote. The history of the vote is usually between 50 and 70
Eh,
out
eh,
here.
yeah, yeah. So, how many people in the town of Hollywood is actually registered to vote currently?
It's probably about close to 4,000, because the population of Hollywood is like rounding off no more than 6,000. But we
And
have a low turnout.
turnout. Now, going back to unemployment, how many people are currently unemployed in the town of Hollywood?
Now, I don't know how many people are unemployed in town Hollywood. Um,
Has
I'm not
that
sure about that.
has that increased or decreased since COVID?
I don't know, because I don't know how people surviving after COVID. It seems like everywhere I go, I see signs, people hiring, but nobody want to work. So I'm not sure. I can see, when COVID first hit, there was a lot of people not working and was concerned. But now I'm not sure.
Now,
I think COVID allowed people to be more independent or
mm,
self-employed, because they're not working. Like,
mm,
uh,
well,
looking at the signs.
yes, ma'am. Well, let me ask you this then, Dr. Murray. How many people actually work from home that actually live in the town of Hollywood?
I don't know. Like my neighborhood, I'm the fifth generation, so I got a lot of retired people around here.
Sure.
Um, and if anybody living in homes of $500,000 or more in Hollywood, most of them moving. They already retired in a lot
Mm,
of the new subdivision
mm.
out here. So
Now,
I'm not sure.
exactly where are the fair market homes in the town of Hollywood?
Well, that's one of the questions I was asking the former mayor, well, the current mayor, how many fair market homes was involved in the new development. I didn't get an answer. So I don't know.
Now, what's that market like right now?
The fair market
Yes,
value,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
like I said, I have to get an office, because these new development is something. You just see property, the property be clearing off, but I don't know who's coming in town. What development. So I can't answer that question. How many fair market homes and you know coming? I can tell you what was in the plan before, but
Mm.
not as of right now.
Now, so what's the biggest difference between those two plans?
Well, when I was on council, I actually sat at the table and I know, I talked to those developers. But right now, nobody knows what's going on. They didn't have any public hearing. We just seen that the homes are being developed. This was not under the old administration when it came to the former mayor.
Mm.
So that's why I can't answer that question.
Now, how many homes have been developed since you left office?
Uh, uh, we have, I know, at least two new subdivisions that's coming since I left. One, they just recently moved in Kings River. I think it's about maybe 20 homes back there,
Mm.
and it's starting at 600,000. And down at Cedar Cross, I don't know if it's phase 2 of Deerfield.
Oh, yes.
I heard that that's supposed to be maybe it's a subdivision or it could be some condos. I'm not sure. Right
So,
across from Stono Ferry.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So, how many homes do you have versus condos versus apartments?
I don't know if that's going to be apartments or condos. I just know the land, the property is clear off. So that's the question. Everybody wants to know what's going on in the town. We don't know
Mm. So,
what's
what is
in.
okay? What is the town's population density per square mile?
Mm, let's say the population. Like I said, right now in off of 162, probably about 3,000
Oh,
people.
wow.
If you have Poplar Grove, that's not actually. It Poplar Grove is right off of Davidson,
Mm.
but it's not actually in the town of Hollywood, like 162.
And what is the average household income quickly in Hollywood?
For the new residents or for the residents that's been here, living here? Because
Oh, both.
that's like a trick. Because I don't know what would be the average income, but a lot of people who, because you got people who live in the heirs property or parent loved one passed, but if you can afford a home 600,000 or more, I'm pretty sure we had a decent income, probably high 6 digit, but I'll say maybe between average 40 to 65,000 in town
And do you and where do
of a
you see
working person.
yeah? And where do you see that income increasing in the next 2 years quickly?
If I see the income increasing the next few years, I don't know. I mean, we're pushing for uh, a pay rate increase. I mean, I just recently I went to uh, an event with Bernie Sanders trying to get minimum wage to increase, but I don't know what's going to take place in the next couple of years. So that's hard to say.
Dr. Chardale Murray, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome anytime.